Welcome, ladies and gents. This should be a really competitive series. Now, you might not know these players' names, but that's what I'm here for because they're all really talented. We've got AntagonisT in the blue, 2400 elo, seed 52 in this tournament. And then we've got emalius in the red, 2300 elo, seed 73 in this tournament. So naturally, in the first round, you're going to have like your first seed versus 128 seed, which won't be close or things similar to that. But then you're also going to have the middle of the pack, the middle of the road. These guys, the middle of the road in this tournament, all 2300 to like 2500, which is insane level. So I expect this to be very, very close. These are live games. This is happening now. And we've got Stranded. Now, they both actually have opted for Persian, so this is their first pick. The first pick can be mirror with the drafts. That's happened here. You start with a fishing ship on this map, which makes your start super smooth. And then Persians start with the extra food and extra wood as well. So I expect lots of fishing as they get working there on the water. Now, we kind of skipped through some of it. Also, do we have any mods who can do Gamba right now? I don't know. Maybe it's too early for some of my mods. Hopefully, if you have some mods to run some Gamba, that would be sick. Words are hard. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So you start with 2 buffalo. And so you're going to see players scouting around with the buffalo. And so these buffalo give them the vision that they need to find everything else. And you can already see good scouting here from AntagonisT, for example. We have no mods do gambling right now. Really? Wow. Mods are... what is it? A Wednesday? What else are they doing? They at work? They sleep? Okay, well, we're going to be adding more mods soon. Sorry about that, chat. We do have a pretty light mod squad. And the light mod squad, they're busy. It's all good. Now, the way I describe these two, so emalius is super well-rounded, super solid. There's really no big standout tendencies from him as a player beyond that. So just solid strategically, solid overall. That's how all players are at the high level. But I think that AntagonisT has slightly better micro. Like, there's key moments in a game with key micro moments, key fights. I think that's where AntagonisT will be able to shine a little bit more than emalius. There also is a very tiny little prediction, tiny little funny thing about emalius that I mentioned, but I'll mention it now for YouTube later on. So I saw him doing it in a tournament last month, and I played him on ranked 2 to 3 times the past week or two. Before he resigns, if he loses a game, he shift-deletes everything on screen sometimes. Now, again, I do not know if that is him, like, tilting off the earth and raging. I do not know if that's just a thing that he's always done, but I've noticed it recently. Some people really hate losing to casters, right? That could be part of it. But yeah, just that's a funny thing to look forward to. I'm going to predict he does it today, just because he did it in other tournaments as well. So that's something you see all the time. We're going to see lots of fishing here. The norm has been 6 or 7 fishing ships before Feudal Age. But will they go Fast Castle, or will they go Feudal Age Water? Will they go Feudal Age Army? Like, there's so much wood in the middle of this map. That's where you have to go long term. I really like Archer opening. I think if you do that, if you prioritize an Archer opening, you might lose your fish as well. So, very, very tricky stuff. Sacred Ron says, what's the logic for not picking Mongols over Persians? Well, Persians were banned. Mongols were banned. So Mongols probably would have been an option here. Maybe for some of the other maps as well. Oh my god, emalius is bringing in all the elephants. There's missing elephants from a nearby zoo. They have some suspects. They feel he's fled to Finland. What's happening here? Okay, so this has got to be Fast Castle then. Cracker says, do we still want Gamba? Yeah. I would love some Gamba. I think we can do it now. I think chat wants to bet their points. Thank you, Crackers. Crackers is a beast. He's at work right now. And when I say he's at work, obviously he's at work here modding. So, wow. Okay, so they actually both click up. Look at these builds, guys. These builds are virtually identical. Bill's headed to gold for emalius now. And then I think AntagonisT is going to try and get Is he looking for a rhino? Is he looking for a sneak dock? He has gold underneath the TC. So this Vil almost feels to me like he wants to build a dock somewhere else. Now, you should know that the opponent's somewhat on the other side of the map. There's going to be a second dock. This Vil to me definitely feels like a dock Vil. We've got a barracks from Emalius. Yo, guys, I'm so hyped about this. Because we've seen different builds every single time. The fact that it's a new map, early rounds. I'm sure there's going to be a meta that evolves over time. I'm sure people are going to have their preferences, and certain people are going to see, let's say, the very top players do it one way and do it the same. But the tricky thing about this map, for me, has always been the fact that, yes, you can win water. There's lots of reason to fight on water, but what if you lose the middle? Like, the middle's so valuable for wood. Emalius, I think, is going fast castle here. He is going to make a fire galley, but he only has one dock. And so he's going to make a fire galley. He's going to get his wood upgrade. Okay, I'm a little confused now. Like, if you're going to go castle age, you probably want to skip some of these upgrades. And it's going to be fires from all 3 docks for Antagonist. Did end up adding this dock. So this dock is actually nice. So let's say the opponent patrols their fires this way at some point. This dock will always catch that. And it makes it really awkward for someone in red's position to go past that dock because you don't want to run into a demo. You know they know you're there. And 2 more fishing ships for Antagonist. If they're pretty much both just fighting for water, feels like a good play. But Emalius is going to go scouts. Scouts here. Not sure I'm in love with scouts, but the opponent's certainly not going to expect it. What should happen, since Emalius is investing way less onto water, he should end up losing water control. So it's key to him that the Scout Edition does something for him. He actually has just produced 1. And is now getting a blacksmith. So I think he's adding a scout for actual scouting. And then he's going to go Castle Age. And he's got to repair, but only 1 dock to produce. And now there's a fire on the other side. And this is a lot of pressure from Antagonist. And there's a lack of, like, true commitment to one particular thing for Emalius, I feel. You going Castle Age? Well, then you got to get there. Are you going water? Then you probably need a couple more docks. It's too late now to, in my opinion, it's too late to transition away from this too much. He sees the TC. He sees the wood line for the opponent. But he's starting to lose on water, and he's going to start to stack up a demo here. But things are getting a little bit desperate. He is repairing here. Is his ship shooting fire, though? His ship is just stuck. His ship wasn't firing back. Now it goes down. And this ship as well is surrounded. So there, you know, after you open with water like this and you go so heavy with the wood and with the gold, there's then a switch to, well, first off, your fish are protected, but then you start to switch onto the food underneath the TC. So this is good for Antagonist. He does get housed pretty badly here, but he's essentially like, okay, apparently my opponent's giving up on water. Scout actually gets trapped in here. And Emalius is going to kill the Vil. No, the Scout can't hit. Well, Scout goes down. And perfect start here for Antagonist. It just seems like the better build-up. And he's not going to be that much later to Castle Age as well, from what it seems like. Really nice build here from Antagonist. He's going to dominate the water. We do still have channel points running. It's rare that we have the bets running this far into a game. Whatever, we'll let the people make decisions based on what they see here. I'd say Emalius with the stable would want to go knights, but he's not going to have as much food eco. So probably could only make a knight or 2. It's going to take some of the hunt, may drop the second TC. I love Antagonist build. It just feels very much like someone who's practiced a lot for this tournament. It put in some sets. Like, I know now more than ever, you've got people who are, let's say, ranked like 30th to 50th, 30th to 60th, feeling like they've got a really good shot in events if they get the preparation right. And people are enjoying playing practice sessions more on tournament settings more than they are ladder a lot of the time. There's a lot more focus on that, so I'd really like to see that practice pay off. And Emalius is a bunch of different things he wants to do here. He's got the Tigers attacking him right now. Monastery could actually be denied by the scout if he's not careful. He's trying to add a new dock because I think he wants to kill the opponent's fish right now. Knowing those fishing ships are safe is going to have him in an awkward spot. Speaking of awkward, though, Villager brought forward from Antagonist. That's a bit of a waste. He'll try and get revenge, though. Snipes the Villager with the scout. Look at these walls from Antagonist. He basically knows that he has to defend from the Knights. If he defends from the Knights, he's safe. So he goes for what we call the egg walls. I'm pretty sure there's a massive hole here. The Knights are on the way. Monk's going to be on the way. Fire galleys from Emalius still out and about, still trying to do something. Could maybe find some kills. Antagonist finds that, backs away. He's done a sick job, though. He's repairing all of his ships, which is so difficult to do. So difficult to pay attention to. And there's a hole! There's a hole! First game of the series. Shaky stuff, right? Nerves, everything that comes with it. This map is not easy to play. And there's the weak villager in there from before. I think Emalius wants it. Huh. What, can the knight not hit her? Okay, well, now the knight can hit her. She'll probably go down. She does. The knight goes down. There's a monk here as well. Could convert the camel. Yeah, monks actually become the best unit for Emalius right now because Antagonist is going to be hopping out with camels to defend. He had no fishing ships soon for Emalius, but he did transition onto some hunt. He's still got water buffalo, and he has the hill. If you have the hill on this map, anything can happen. And I think that Antagonist is going to be trying to think of ways to push back to the middle. Now, for me, I think Light Cav is an excellent addition to try and snipe those monks. Suddenly, your camels can join the engagements. But that's going to take some time. And it's just always a hole. And he's always got a quick wall, man. Like, what crazy adaptations here. And this is going to go down soon. Water influences the score massively. But it also can influence the game pretty massively as well. In this case, the fishing ships. Antagonist is adding more. He's got to add more quick walls as well. Okay, they're both going to have monks now. And the monk from blue might be enough to push Emalius away. Oh, wait. Well, not anymore because he actually just... He gave up the spearman, which is probably fine. So yeah, there's 8 ships on the field for... Or not in the field, I guess on the water. For Antagonist. That's going to add to his score, and then he's got the fishing ships. But see if they're all working. They seem to be working pretty nicely. Basically, if you lose the monks right now, if you're Emalius, you're screwed. You need a little bit more time to adapt your economy. There's the second TC. I'm sure farms will be coming up. The monks are the key. And Persian monks suck compared to other civilizations monks. They're both Persians in this case. Conversion. That's pretty good situation for Emalius. Maybe he's got another monk here. Could convert again. He needs that conversion because then he might save the other monk. Okay, he gets it. There's another monk coming. He saves them. He doesn't save the monk. Excuse me. Oh, man. So I know most of you guys don't play tournaments, right? But, I mean, you guys even know, type a 1 in chat if you find playing ranked stressful. I know there's going to be a lot of ones, even from the lurkers who don't like the type usually. So, tournaments is just it's a completely different ball game. And then you come in and it's game 1 and it's this intense. Like, it's pretty crazy pressure. And someone says yes in any game. Okay. So yeah, I mean, RTS is just special in that. I think, I mean, I haven't played competitively Like, I'm decent in other games, but I never played tournaments or anything along those lines in other types of games, so maybe I'm just misinformed, but RTS with all the different actions you have to do, with how quickly things can fall apart, I think is just special in that regard. Now, still waiting. Like, I think that Antagonist has stabilized things nicely here. Obviously, he just lost a random Vil, which is kind of awkward, but he's got 22 fishing ships. Like, he's doing everything right except make Light Cav, in my opinion. I think Light Cav wins him this game. Now, he doesn't have to. He could just go Camel and Monk and just keep trading conversions, but 3 Light Cav, these Monks die, and then the Camels can collapse, and then he takes the hill. Like, Antagonist is in a great position. Now, way he could lose the game is if he loses his Monk mass, doesn't get as many conversions, and Red continues to have 7 Monks on the field that can convert all of his Camels. Especially if this turns into a Tower Rush, or a siege push, or a castle drop, which could happen. We've got ranges now from Emalius. Maybe thinking about Cav Archers. When you don't want to be engaging with Camels against Monks, because Camels don't kill Monks that quickly either. Emalius about to get 4 relics, dropping triple range. He's got a chance here, guys. The window for Light Cav might be closed by the time he shows up if there's going to be more army here. I actually love the crossbow choice over Cav Archers because Camels do bonus damage versus the CA. This is funny. These two are like, come on, I can't drop off of the lumber camp anymore. I'm still doing the same job. They've been... what's the word I'm looking for? They're being shunned. And now they're going to fight back. Telling you guys, Antagonist has been producing like a madman. 25 fishing ships. I mean, where is he not with fishing ships? He's got 3 TCs as well. His eco's unbelievable. But if it gets to 15 crossbows with these Monks, becomes a very, very, very interesting situation. The numbers aren't there yet for Emalius. But he's made the right call to go for crossbow. He's made the right call to prioritize the hill. He's got good eco upgrades. He just doesn't have fish. You can't go back on the water now. Everything, your advantage has to be the relics in the middle, the hill in the middle. Normal Nomad, this game is probably over. On a map like this, it's very different. There's the Light Cav, but there's crossbows here. I don't know. That's a lot of crossbows in support. I think that Antagonist is going to start to sweat here a little bit. Guys, one thing I have a lot of experience with is getting a lead in a game and throwing it massively, okay? That is what Antagonist is at risk of doing right now. Because now he feels like, okay, Light Cav doesn't work. So now I need to go Knights. Just go for, like, I'm Persians. I get extra bonus damage against crossbows that could still be good for me. Well, guess what? Then he's going to dive with Knights. And if Emalius gets 8 conversions, disaster could strike. So, I mean, this is before we could have a castle drop. There's so much. The key for Emalius, though, you don't leave the hill. You never leave the hill. Never leave this vision. You're seeing your opponents getting ready to strike, massing a lot of units. You gotta be very careful here. Oh, man, but he can see a lot. He can apply more pressure, and Antagonist kind of struggling to know what to do, where to go. Ballistics is on the way. Just like 6 Light Cav swooping in could be such a big deal. Okay, there's going to be 1 Light Cav, but you got to be careful. But can Emalius get conversions? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gets 5 conversions. The Monks will also heal. That could have been a better fight for Emalius. Also could have been worse. But there's Monks from Antagonist. He's just going to convert his units right back. And the main Monk group is down for Emalius. That was good enough for Antagonist. It was just enough patience to wait till he could get his numbers. And now, if this was open field, he could collapse on this. But there's lots of choke points to worry about. And we have Imp for Emalius? What? Imp? Wow, that's crazy. Look at this. We've got blue expanding for a TC. Look how close they are to each other. This is Red's line of sight. He can see all this army, and he can see his opponent's TCing here. Damage control at the houses and the gates is good. Imp probably just made the most sense for him because he had the resources, and It would have taken him so long to invest into upgrades or get knights or more camels out. Camels might not even make sense if the opponent has the monks still. Unfortunately, Persians don't get bracer, though, so the crossbows are just not really a unit that scales super well. Big raid over here from Antagonist. Emalius is just microing his crossbows. A minute away from Imp, though. An Imp could change things, but Antagonist still has such a nice little lead. Here he will lose his units, though. That micro is actually perfect from Emalius. I know he lost Bills, but that was... Maybe he's got a chance. Like, chemistry crossbows? Don't know if chemistry's enough. Like, honestly, if he had a Civ with Bracer, this is very much a winning position. Well, okay, not a winning position, but a position he could win from, is what I meant to say. Chemistry takes a long time to pay off. But you just have to conserve your numbers. And you have to hope. Now, I would have loved to have seen Rams from Antagonist to take down these buildings. We didn't see that. There's chemistry now. That might freak Antagonist out a little bit as he continues to try and move in, find some engagements. He'll know chemistry is the only upgrade these things will benefit from, and that'll take some time. The TC's fully garrisoned. God, this is crazy. Look at how much is happening here. There's also still raids elsewhere. There's so much to look at. The eco is so idle for Emalius, but he's not losing his crossbow group. I think it's going to be YOLO Castlage from Antagonist. He can't go Imp now. He just needs more Knights all the time. Knights, Knights, Knights. Are Castlage Knights good enough against crossbows with chemistry? If it was Bracer and chemistry, no. Especially if Arbalest was available. Antagonist getting every conversion he can, but his monks are starting to go down. Guys, this is pretty crazy. Vills are on stone. We could see a castle drop as well. Maybe on the hill would make sense for Antagonist, but that could so easily be denied. Who wins this game? Antagonist is going to try and raid on both sides. That's one way you do it against the crossbows too. You hit where the crossbows are not. 32 eco kills here for Antagonist, but how's he going to kill the crossbows, man? There's so much exposed eco as well, right? Like, everything's so condensed on this map. Like, this is 20 Vills right here, and that's so much of the gold income. This is nuts. Still trying to raid. Cav archers and crossbows are here. We'll eventually deal with that. Okay, Emalius will see the Siege Workshop has a flag, so here he goes. Oh, man. Vills are going to get slaughtered. He sees the Mangonel. He's using a small group to take out the Mangonel, or try to. Oh, he does get it, and he's killing the Knights, but now he's getting raided at home. He's getting raided at home. What a game. So good from Antagonist to continue to raid while he has to defend here. Crazy eco difference. But, like, you can only make Knights if you have gold. And right now, the gold income is a big question mark for Antagonist because of the crossbows. Like, this TC is so valuable to him. He needs to complete this. This TC as well. I don't know if this TC goes up. He didn't know the crossbows just were going to come back. He didn't sense that at all. That's a crazy, crazy situation here. Cav archers trying their best to snipe down the Knights, but they have to hit and run. And Antagonist just continues to churn out eco, continues to churn out military. Imp is nowhere in sight for him. Cav archer's pretty good. Pretty good option here. If only he had Bracer. But it's not something the Persians get access to. I think the additional mobility is really nice with the CA, because you can keep up with the Knights. And Emalius is moving away. Man, what a great job from Antagonist to get these TCs up. But he needs to, like... I wonder if he's gone too far. Like, you need Imp. But if you go Imp, then you don't have army to defend. So it's this never-ending cycle. It doesn't feel like he's anywhere close to Imp. Guys, Emalius is going to win this game. I think? I really don't know. Look how cramped it is in here. Like, oh, a castle now. Oh, that's so sick. That's so sick. Okay. That's so sick. That's a sick castle, because that also denies Emalius' gold. And I think it should go up. 60 eco lead for Antagonist. Now, the fishing ships are really... He's fish trapping too? Well, he's fish trapped in some locations. Most of them are inefficient. Crossbows have killed 37 units. And that's not all vills. That's only 16 or 17 vills. They've just killed so many knights. And there's 20 CA for Emalius. But he can't get his own castle to treb this down. There's kind of TCs everywhere from Antagonist to block off the ranged units. Can you imagine if you were Lithuanians here and could get the TC range upgrade? You could, like, control half the map if you were blue. What on earth is this game? You'd need, like... You need siege if you're Emalius, but then you have to try and get these little stones, which are really hard to focus on. Especially when you're being raided all the time. Quick wall. Trying, getting raided. Crossbows. I do think that, like... I get that Emalius is being raided, but I do think you always have to apply pressure where you can. And maybe now is your time if you're Antagonist. That's a lot of army you're up against. Maybe you actually cut production and just try and click him for a second. Maybe. Look at him use the shoreline, loop in again. Like, it's like there's always another group. Look, there's another group here as well. Like, he really fully understands his win condition. He knows his eco is way superior. I like the TC from Emalius. That's a really good idea. You gotta go imp here, Antagonist. You gotta go imp. Okay, he stopped producing knights. He's gonna click. What a game. What a series. Well, I mean, it's the first game, but hopefully the rest of the series is like this. This trap's gonna get sniped, by the way. Like, that's not a spot you want to be if the CA loop around. Ooh, but more villager kills found for Antagonist. TC will go up, but more damage being done, and now he's even gonna TC here. Okay, so he's going to TC that gold as well. 83 eco killed by Antagonist this game. He's on the way to imp. Fishing ships, fish traps, say goodbye to that. Remember, he has farms, but he has to keep them safe as well. His crossbow's going to loop over to the right side now, where Antagonist got a TC down. It's wild to me that this is actually winnable for the guy who has 52 bills. He just has so much army, bro. And the army is doing real damage to the army from Antagonist. Now, if he can afford armor and cavalier, it becomes a different story. But I'm not sure that he's going to be able to easily get those upgrades because he's in this never-ending cycle of needing to spam army and losing it all at the same time. Like, it's an unbelievable situation we found ourselves in here. The CA are going to get Parthian tactics now. You're still at least 2 minutes away from the upgrades of your Antagonist because you're not imp yet, and the upgrades take time. And then he has to relocate food eco too. I mean, this is a mess. This is an absolute mess. This is winnable for Emalius. It is. But can he continue to find the spots to pressure? Look at the idle time from both of them. Over 3 hours idle eco. Okay, there's armor. Now, armor has a bigger effect here than in normal situations because, remember, Bracer isn't available for Persians. So even just that, without Cavalier, could still be okay. He's got to be patient with it. As patient as the game can allow you to be as you're getting rated on the gold. I mean, 150 ecos, considerable amount. He's still got food. He's still got gold. I think Antagonist can start to finally put a dent into this army count and maybe snag the win. Okay, CA go underneath the TC. The Knights will have armor. They're going to chase this down now. Got some quick walls from Antagonist, funneling towards the fire ships. Let's go. That's the start. Kills that army. Now Cavalier's on the way. And see, now he can rest a little bit. Now he can breathe. Look at these farms. Boom. Just crazy. TCs everywhere, man. He's got like 8 TCs. Crazy stuff we're witnessing. Emalius needs to push it. Catching up in eco's not going to be an option. He is going to still expand. That's fine. But he needs to win big fights. And Antagonist has lost a bunch of ills towards the middle here. He's going to go for the raids now. And I guess when you have ATCs, you've always got eco working elsewhere. And we already saw how many kills he was able to get against imp units with knights. Now he's going to try and get kills with Cavalier. He's got a Treb as well on the TC from Emalius, so he'll lose that. And Emalius is just... He's only reacting now. I guess the exception would be this army, but this gets pushed away, and I think Antagonist has all the control now. Finally, the eco paid off. I mean, it took so long. Collected 20,000 more resources. The chemistry upgrade and the army from Emalius was sick. Like, so much micro, so much focus on army. But yeah, now you should see Antagonist be able to breathe freely at home and really cement his position. The Cavalier just too big of a spike. You should eventually be able to get the army mass to actually kill the Cav archers now. It's not easy with these numbers, but you could get there. Or you could transition. Go for something else, maybe. What else is wild is on other maps, there's a lot of stone. Here, there's only these little single tiles. So it becomes really difficult to think about that and get to multiple castles, it seems. Oh, man. Antagonist clicks Savar. Okay, well, if he could have 30 Savar, it's GG. So Emalius needs to do some damage before it gets there. And here he is. You could tell the Antagonist doesn't want to engage. What's even the wood situation on this map? Guys, I didn't think we would see almost an hour-long game on this map of all maps. This is a tough map to play. A lot of things can go wrong. I honestly don't think many games are going to go imp on this map. You know, during the show match with Doubt and Viper, we did see some of the games go imp. Or, well, the one game go imp, but still. Yeah, this is what you do. You just go raid, and that frees up your own eco, because now red has to go home. It's bad enough where red has to go home and deal with that. And 200 pop for Antagonist. Had a really nice opening. And this is a big one for your confidence, because this got really close to you losing it. So your initial opening was better, and then you held on like a beast. And he has been a beast. I mean, look at these TCs. He's TC'd everywhere around the map. It's so funny. He's going to drop another one on that gold. I think the town centers have been a really important part of this for him. Because it got to a point where red didn't really know where to hit and where to raid. Savar's about to be in. Malleus's pop is still pretty good. It's 140. But it's not going to be 140 for much longer. GG. Wow. What a freaking game, dude. That was... If every game in this series is that good, we are in for one of the better sets of the week. That was top tier stuff. I think the opening from Antagonist was fantastic. I felt like he seemed to have more of an idea of how to play the water aspect. There was, like, I think this game could have easily been over in Castle Age if he just went light cav. Like, that's going to be something if he wins this round and then say preparing for the next. You make light cav once you have the fish boom, you snipe the monks, he can make the move. The crossbow play from Emalius, kind of out of the blue, kind of unexpected. You don't really expect a mid-Castle Age crossbow switch from Persians, but it did do a lot of damage, especially with Imp. There were a bunch of people, there was a couple people in my chat, not going to name names. They said, why Imp, right? When he clicked Imp. Imp made a big difference. Chemistry actually gave him a chance here. I'm going to show you the value destroyed. Bottom left, over 20,000 for both players. Emalius destroyed way more value, basically because he killed so many knights compared to the amount of military Antagonist was able to kill. But 200 villagers died that game. You look at this, you might think this was easy for Antagonist, but it got really dangerous at points. And he thankfully gets the job done. Again, I think you lose that one, and that feels very painful. Now you win. You feel like you had the better start. You held on to the lead, and you really trust yourself here and trust your strategy. So, all right, so game 2. Game 1 was a banger, and they are close here. They are super close. We'll see who this benefits if they find that. We've got one of the hardest maps to play, Houseboat. You start with your TC on the island here, and then you start with a transport and, of course, your scout. You do also start with a house, which is worth mentioning, so that is always very helpful. Would be very difficult otherwise. But for the Chinese, it's especially helpful you start with the house, and it's especially helpful that you start with all the box turtles or shorefish around, right? So you should have less TC idle time than a normal game. The Chinese start with the extra vills, but they have no food, so that's an important aspect to pay attention to. Malay, they're probably going to be all about the timings in the water here. They've got great fishing ships. They've got great dock vision. They advance faster to the next stage. So one of the best strategies for this map, guys, especially if you realize your opponent is close, is fast feudal and docking their water. We're going to see a lot of that because if you control the water, you stop them from fishing and you stop them from essentially being able to use their vills. Because once these fish are gone, vills have to be ferried back and forth. So I would say that you can kind of have two approaches with that. You could be the aggressor, or you could be the person who defends from that aggression. And if you're going to play that, that's also fine. I think you just want to make 2 docks from home and be very attentive with your scout. Now, what Viper does with the Malay, Viper's probably one of the best players to play this type of style and maybe even play Houseboat in general. He was the winner of the first Wandering Warriors Cup, let's not forget. Viper's thing was he go, okay, I'm Malay. If I can get the fish traps, my fish traps give me food forever. So that's my goal. Go ahead and try and stop my fish because I'm going to dock 2 docks at home. So when you show up with 1 dock, boom, I have double the production. And so he just kind of plays it like that. And then if the opponent doesn't show up with a dock, then he can just add fishing ships nonstop. So you're kind of guaranteed to have some type of a lead that way. It's a very safe approach. Like the dock on the outside. We'll see. I'll show you the Malay dock vision here in a second. And there's a dock on the outside from Emalius as well, as they're going to try and get the fishing ships out. But normally, the idle TC time for Chinese, best case scenario for a map like Arabia, would be 25 seconds. Here, it's 11 seconds because you're just producing villagers so much faster because of how quick the food is here. So there's golden stones scattered around. There's berries scattered around. There's also, like, I don't know how detail-oriented people are going to be. But yeah, there's cows that you could ferry in underneath the TC. There's also deer and elephants around. Which, I mean, if you get lucky, like, you can find them. But you have, like, it's so tough because you also have to scout the opponent. And right here, Emalius was really close to finding out the opponent was there. Antagonist just looking for the cows. This is intentional. This is someone who has thought about how this is going to play out when these villagers run out of the shorefish. This is prepped. This is like, I'm not saying Emalius hasn't prepped it either. His build looks really good, but clearly there's been practice involved. Love to see it. And they've got good chances. Seed 52 versus Seed 73. There's a 100 elo difference between these two. It's a tournament. There's nerves. There's execution in the biggest moments. But will there be the food? Notice the difference. The water buffalo are not underneath the TC. So these vills had larger periods where they weren't working. And it's kind of inefficient. At least for now. I really like when AntagonisT is done here. But yeah, love this map. Anyone here seeing this map for the first time? If you're seeing this map for the first time, I could definitely suggest some games for you to rewatch. Viper and Tato played an epic one in Wandering Warriors Cup 1. There was also the Vinchester Veleza series in Titans League Season 1. I think that was honestly the best houseboat game ever. That game was ridiculous. This map actually produces some banger games. I know why people think it's a meme. I know why people think it's casters just trying to put players in positions of struggle for entertainment purposes. But no, it is genuinely a really good map. And uh-oh. Antagonist has a Vil walking across. Uh-oh. And he's going to get this dock down. Emalius is like, to me, it kind of feels like he didn't have the food to click up. And so then he's opted to go for this big wall approach. But wow, he can actually see the dock because of the Chinese TC line of sight. But this could be a problem for him. This could be a really big problem for him. There's a fire galley on the way already. And look at the vision that you get from the dock from the Malay. So he sees the Vils there. And Emalius is going to try and wall in the Vil. And so that's going to be denied. And now Emalius needs to bring the transport over and just save the Vil. Yeah. The villager just like teleports from 3 tiles away. His transports are weird like that. Need to save the scout as well. Whoop! There we go. But you got to be careful with that transport now. Let's see if he can defend this. 2 docks versus 1. But there's going to need to be a little bit of ring around the rosy here. Now, in theory, what you could do behind this is you could add fish and you can fish trap if you're antagonist. But that's a lot of wood investment, so it's not as easy to get that timing down. I like antagonist position. This is why I think Malay are arguably better than Chinese, because of the forward dock potential in this map. It just fully utilizes the faster uptimes. Oh, my friend, do you really want to use the transport ship to block your fish? You might want to take that transport ship. I think I'd prefer a transport ship over a fishing ship right now. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Gotta get the villagers across. Save the fish if you can. You could also garrison villagers in the TC to shoot down the fires. Oh, man. Emalius is falling apart. Okay, but he has his own fires now. But he now has no transport. And 3 docks from Antagonist. He has no chill. That's crazy investment. I don't think I've ever seen 3 in Feudal Age. Also, still has to ferry his own Vils around. Find jobs for these Vils to do. Doesn't have the greatest food eco, in all honesty. Very heavy on wood. Like, Emalius is at least going to go over here, take some deer. It's in a somewhat adaptable position. No, weak Vil, weak Vil, weak Vil, weak Vil. Wow, dude, what a snipe. That's such a heads-up play. How do you notice that? That's crazy. Uh-oh. Demo. No transport ship for Emalius, by the way. So all the new Vils are just arrows for the TC to shoot, which actually helps. Wandering Warriors Cup 1. It was a best of 3. Game 3 on this map, and I was in Red's exact position, and the opponent ran into the TC fire too many times to give me a chance back. He is going to make a transport now. But I wasn't in this exact position because Antagonist is triple dock commit, which is crazy. Oh, no. Disaster! That was horrible for Emalius. Look at Antagonist play. Look at these repairs. He is good, man. He is really good. Defended from the demo, landed the demo, getting the repairs. 20 seconds of TC idle time behind this. Has the aggression when he needs it, but then also has the defense when he needs it. And you got to recognize here that, like, all the pressure's on your opponent. Should be pretty happy with this position. If you control this water, he might not even be able to make it to Castle Age. Now, there is a world where maybe Demo goes in, kills 3 of the fishing ships. Maybe Emalius, because he's farming and because he's got the hunt, he can actually make it to Castle Age faster. Because there isn't a lot of other things happening right now for Blue. And he isn't fish trapping yet either. So I think he's just now starting to think about that. But Blue's food economy isn't great. Transport ship has been able to ferry villas across. I mean, res collected, just 500 difference. A 4th dock for Antagonist? Bro. 4 docks is crazy. So he's got a total of 6 docks. 4 on the front. He is not giving this up ever. And no, this is not sudden death. We did sudden death when we did the show match for this tournament for funsies. But this is not sudden death, so you can delete this TC if you want to get rid of it. What would be so sick for Emalius is if he were to sneak a Vil. And I actually think Margugu was in chat, right? Margugu, some other people who are going to play in this tournament are going to be watching this. Listen, guys, I'm telling you, okay? You could trust me. You just sneak to their side with Vils. Like, they're not going to do anything but try and kill your water. Go find them, send 2 Vils, and dock here as well. And then it becomes a fight on both sides. That's your way back into this. It's better than going archers or something, because that takes a barracks and an archer range, and that takes time. Okay, Emalius is going to click up the castle. Can he make it? Cancel the Vil, dude. That Vil does nothing for you. Cancel it. Click up. Here he goes. He's on his way. He's going to probably beat the Malay player up. We might see market. Yeah. So Antagonist will probably buy and sell some res. But still not the fish trap setup that you would want for the Malay over here. Yet. That will obviously happen. And when you're in Castle Age, there's a barracks. Maybe we'll see a stable. Emalius could maybe get a knight or 2 over here. He's just now going to find the opponent. And a knight or 2 could do some real damage there. What's the gold situation like for him? Find some gold back here. Has some buffalo over here. Not completely out of the question that maybe he can come back. Oh, man, Malay are insane. Antagonist actually just uses the market and clicks up anyways. An archer range. I don't like archer range because you need a lot of units to have an impact. Whereas one knight can have a very big impact, and you only have the eco for a couple units anyways. So he might be thinking like cav archers, because we're in a very cav archer meta right now in our scene, but I don't know. It could be tough. This TC is likely useless at this point. So even if Emalius is producing Vils, it's not really doing much. And he doesn't have any production from these docks. Man, archers. And again, at this point, don't you just want to wait for cav archer? You're only going to have one. I feel like it's just Antagonist is just always one step ahead, it seems, economically. He's a more complete player. He's really good. He's got, I said at the start of the series, he's got like the elite pressure timings. He could take advantage of timings on water and on land so well. And then he's pretty adaptable as well. Wow, look at this TC spot. Emalius is going for the safest TC possible. He's going for crossbow and bodkin for 2 units. Where are they even? Oh, here they go. Yeah, like just making 2 cav archers would have saved so many resources. But it's easy to question his position because so much has gone wrong. And because so much has gone wrong, it doesn't look as good for him. And he's given it his best shot. Yeah, Lingard, I think Antagonist probably trains way more for tourneys than most players at the 2K4 ELO as well. Emalius, I don't really know as much about. I just know he's super solid overall. And you could see he's super solid overall. But it's like crazy Like, everything Antagonist has done here has clearly been very well practiced to get to this point. Might need to make a couple war galleys at home right now if you're Antagonist, so you could stop your fish traps from getting sniped. It could be kind of tough. But yeah, the TC for Emalius, you've just got 5 Vils in there stuck doing nothing. So he's going to be on 2 TCs essentially. Oh god, he's instinctively producing Vils here. No! Instinctively producing Vils, as I would as well. Because that's what you do. You produce Vils in Age of Empires. Honestly, you should probably delete the TC so you don't produce more there, because they ain't getting back. Unless you're building a tower there with them or something. Listen, some people are born into this world, and there's gold, there's wood, there's farms, and there's buffaloes. There's options and opportunity. Other people are born into this world. There's nowhere to go. The Wi-Fi's crappy. And there's no options for you except standing on this little island and just twiddling your thumbs. This is just realistic. We are fortunate. Those of us watching this right now. We are not on this island. Well, you might have crappy Wi-Fi. But, you know, there's other things to do with life. Hopefully, the Scorpions killing off the crossbows. Oh, no. Please kill that. Oh, get it. Yeah, let's go. Is he really micro-nerding this right now? There's no way, right? He's looking over here. Antagonist. It's not Viper, right? Only 4 fish traps. By the way, Emu, if you're watching, honestly, maybe Houseboat is a good pick against Viper. But Emu is going to be playing Viper. So Emu is seed 127 against Viper, who's going to be 2nd seed. And a lot of people here are rooting for Emu because he's, you know, plays actively in community games and is around the channel a lot. So I was thinking of suggestions to give him. And yeah, Houseboat is one of Viper's best maps. So you probably want to avoid that. Farms everywhere now. The transitions have started for Antagonist. He's going to be on like 5 TCs again. And Emalius isn't out of the game. But, uh-oh. That's not going to help. Beautiful micro from Antagonist. The crossbows do get through. He's gotten enough value from the crossbows to make it worth the investment. I questioned it at one point. It's kind of tough here with the melee, right? Like, you can't make a couple knights to clean this up. Well, you can make a couple knights, but they're not very strong. Okay, when this game ends, how many villagers will be inside of this TC for Emalius? Or more specifically, on the island? There's 8 inside the TC, and there's 1 here. See, for me, I'm always using my select all TC hotkey. I do not control group my TCs, so I wouldn't have it in me to just remove this from a control group. Most players control group their TCs separately and don't use select all TC all the time. I have fully adapted my ways. So yeah, we'll see. Oh, he moved the Vil. He put her in the TC. Maybe it'll just be 9. Scorpions clear up the crossbows on the back. And Siege Workshop may even go down here. I mean, you could draw this game out. Blue is not applying any pressure anymore. So, like, it's not like Red's situation is getting worse. This game probably goes imp. So maybe if it takes Antagonist too long to pressure, too long to push, there is actually a chance. Like, that's a start. In the previous game, Antagonist got a really big lead and almost lost. So, this seems to be an even bigger lead, but still, it's Chinese, man. Red's getting into a bit of a groove. Has a couple knights around. I'm liking the way the eco's set up. Wouldn't mind to see maybe a 4th TC. I would love to see cannon galleons from this water. And we're going to see a castle here for Antagonist. Interesting castle. I would have said maybe a castle here makes the most sense because you're going to be pressured from this area potentially. He's got vision everywhere, though. He's dropping outposts around, too. Crazy how much vision he has over his opponent's map. How many vills are in the TC? Oh, God, there's 12. Bro, just stop. Stop birthing useless villagers into the world. It's so unfair to them. They didn't choose this. Come on, just snip, snip, bro. Just stop it. Get rid of the TC. Oh, God. See, I said this because I would do the same crap if this TC was still here. So I would delete that because I know myself and I know that I would produce too much. Here comes the army. That's a lot of siege. A lot of scorpions, a lot of mangonels from Antagonist. Couple knights here from Emalius out and about. Okay, now he's using it as a research TC. Look, hold on. He's trying to stop, guys. I want to show you this. Okay, so it clearly dawned on him that he needed to stop, and he goes, oh, okay, this is my wheelbarrow TC now. And then he queues up vills. Watch this. So he... Okay, so like right there, he canceled vills, and then queued vills, and then canceled vills again. So yeah, he's just using the select all TC produce villager hotkeys, and it keeps selecting that in the group. Now, does he go for handcart in this TC and then delete it? That would probably make the most sense. He already produced his 13 vills. You could dock here in the middle and try and save them. Oh, God, he queued up vills again. Oh, that's just so funny, dude. But I do think as a player, you have to help yourself before you hurt yourself in this scenario. And he hasn't been able to do that. Okay, handcart. Nice. All right, in before more vills get queued up there. Crazy eco for Antagonist. This is nuts, dude. 150 eco. Just like last game, he loves a big boom. And he's going to go Karambits. I mean, he could do anything from here. I think full elite Karambit's very realistic. Honestly, elite battle elephant. We are going to see imp. Oh, God, there's a forward castle, though. And the Karambits might run right on through. Remember, Emalius hasn't been pressured in this area at all this whole game. So, like, he hasn't called it because he hasn't been killed yet. And he's imping in that TC. Okay. So, yeah, this is the research TC. That's one way to do it. We'll see what Antagonist chooses to commit with. You could play a very messy game from here. I love these positions. You get a big eco lead and you just patrol. It's the type of game Doubt would love. You already did all the hard work, and now you get to enjoy the game. And just spam endless army, get all these crazy upgrades, and dominate. 13 of the villagers that Red has are not working. So the 112 villagers is really only 100. There's also the fish traps. I mean, these fish traps have 30,000 food on them. That's before you even count the farms. So this economy is ridiculous for Antagonist. We are going to see a castle here from Emalius. Game 1 was almost a comeback story. So he's going to continue to put up this fight. Antagonist doesn't know about this castle yet. So he won't know to go for Trebs. And hold on, did Antagonist not click Imp? Does he think he clicked up to Imp? I mean, that's a lot of Karambits. He's got 50 Karambit warriors. Looks like he just realized he's not an Imp yet. And now he's going to click. Also, still has this TC, by the way, which is pretty crazy. Never deleted that himself. And Karambits are going to raid. Fully upgraded castle Karambits going to feast. These things are cheap, these things are fast, and these things are annoying to deal with, especially when you have so little army in Red's position. You could just toss them away if you're Antagonist. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it to dive so many underneath the castle. I don't know if you have to do this, but I think you can justify doing this. So, like, all you do... He didn't even look here after he clicked them in there. He's looking over here. He's fixing his economy. He's getting more gold. Like, it just does so much to the rest of your gameplay. And naturally, I think he is going to know there's going to be trebuchets over here from red. And he seems to know that red is down here as well. But yeah, you definitely need to get elite karambit if you're antagonist. You'll probably sell off that wood to get the gold for it. And actually sells the stone as well. It's pretty crazy. And elite karambit. I mean, he doesn't have the craziest massive karambits ever. But the opponent has 13 crossbows here. So that is not going to be enough. I can't wait to look at the bracket and see, like, let's assume antagonist wins this right now. Because it's looking like he's going to be in good shape to do so. Who could he potentially face in the next round? He is dangerous. He should be up against someone who is below, like, you know, above him in skill. One of the higher seeded players, but he's really good, man. He reminds me of Winchester a little bit, which maybe that's just my brain because they're both Russian. They're both on Sal's. They're like Winchester's been training with him so long now for the last year or two. Oh, man. Emalius is going to weasel his way into the corner. Karambits are going to bust their way through, though. There's still a hole. Hold door! Here they come. Like I said, I've seen Emalius shift delete his eco at the disappointment of a loss. He's still trying to fight. He doesn't want to entertain the thought that he could be dead here, but... Yep, this is over. This is over. Someone's asking how much money they win. So there's no payouts for winning the first round. I believe payouts are top 32. That's on Liquipedia if you want to take a look at it as well. Siege Workshops now from Antagonist. He's going to try and dive for the Trebs. Emalius saw it. He comes in to try and gate it off. He did. He's going to take out 2 castles. You know someone's in a good spot, though, when they can lose 2 castles and still feel like they're going to win this easily. And that's the situation here. I mean, this is just a slaughter. I think Emalius, he knows how important this game 2 is. Like, game 1 was super close. He almost brought it back. Now you'd have to win 3 straight if you lose this. So, he put up a pretty big fight here, but the start, the Feudal Age, and the follow-up from that was just too good from Antagonist. I think Chinese, their weakest point is early Feudal, and Malay just match up against that so nicely if you play them this way. And so that was the key for me. Like, it's hard to it's already hard to have a fast Feudal with Chinese because they start with no food. But then you're up against Malay, who have the lightning fast Feudal Age. So it was the perfect decision. Maybe a bit unfortunate for Emalius that the water was so close, because sometimes players can be a bit further apart, which would have benefited the Chinese more. But yeah, I mean, 4 freaking docks on the front. I've never seen that before. I've seen 2. I've seen the eventual 3, but 4 in Feudal Age is crazy. And then look what he did behind that. Just a crazy player, man. And you could see KD wasn't all that good because he just tossed away Karambit Warriors, but the eco, almost double the amount of resources, just dominated this game. Just completely dominated. And they're similar speed players as well. It might seem like Antagonist is a bit faster because he's faster to getting to the army or faster to getting to this eco count. But he clearly, to me, comes off as a player who trained a lot and has a large understanding of how to play each moment of the game. So, GG. All right, so game 3. And man, has Antagonist looked good. Now, I want to explain how we've changed this. Well, I guess first off, I should explain what it is. It's Boundary Brawl. And the villagers start in the middle. And it just simply, with so much food in the middle, it does not make sense to leave the middle. So players typically TC here. Notice how much vision they have. They always have vision on the entire middle area. This never changes, okay? There's berries, there's hunt, there's all of this. Now, the main thing we changed, the old version of this, Wandering Warriors Cup 1, many, many years ago, all the rhinos were in the middle. And there was an instance where a particular player, we won't name names just in case he's watching, but, you know, a particular player was actually playing at an internet cafe. He wasn't home. And then he was up against Viper. And he tried to bring in his rhinos like super early because they were in the middle and he didn't want his opponent to take them. He lost 2 vills and he resigned. So that was painful. And basically, I don't want games decided in 2 minutes. So instead, it's still possible to take the rhinos. It's still possible to take the rhinos. But it shouldn't happen. Oh my god, and Emalius snagged it with this Vill and is doing the loop-de-loop. Because he realized his other Vill wasn't going to get there in time. Okay, it does make this awkward for him. And there's a potential the ostrich blocks. Oh my god, Antagonist is going to steal the other one. Are you kidding me? There he goes. Off he goes. This is so risky, man. I do not think this is good. I think good players will punish you for this. And well, well, that's not so good. I mean, the guy is high on life right now. He's up 2-0. Probably feels like he can do no wrong. And villager down. And now the rhino just goes right back to where it was. So yeah, I think it's probably not going to happen because people are so good at denying it. But it can still happen, which is why I'm happy with the changes, you know? It should be 2 rhinos for both. Now, Emalius is docked. And I wonder if Emalius did his homework. So there's water buffalo all over the swamp area. So I actually think it's worth it. Tell me if you guys agree or not. Instead of fishing with this fishing ship right now, grab your fishing ship and just go in a circle and get all the water buffalo. That is 12 water buffalo that haven't been found. He already has a couple. That's 1,800 food. So I actually think, I mean, maybe you think you can do it later if your opponent hasn't docked yet themselves. But I actually think it's worth it to snag those buffalo super early here. Lithuanians for Emalius. He's been chopping the straggler trees, which I think we're going to see a lot of. So they're delaying their lumber camp. They'll eventually have to build the lumber camp on the outside. And then, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess, like, wait, hold on. Khmer, it just kind of dawned on me what Blue Civ was. The plan with Khmer, I mean, you can go up pretty fast to Castle Age. You could go for lots of scouts, hop in and out of houses. There's bonuses to work with. It's kind of interesting. I'm a bit worried that Antagonist won't be able to find a wood line. Like, this is pretty unfortunate. The area he's going to doesn't seem to have wood right away. And I think he probably wants a lumber camp. But he'll find it. Ween Dinchester says, I did it with the Villas Berbers in a training match, and then I had 10 buffaloes underneath my TC. Sick. I think, like, now that you have 3 fishing ships, it's absolutely worth it to use one of them. And I think you should determine whether or not you should get the buffaloes based on if your opponent has docked. Because you can always see if your opponent has docked the middle. So in this case, you could delay it a little bit. But yeah, I think that it's worth it to do that. And we will see people do that over time. Ween Dinchester plays Lucho later on today. I don't know if I'll be live for that one because I have a lot of stuff I need to work on right now. Feels crazy that I'm like, I'm working on an announcement right now in the midst of a tournament that I'm hosting, but yeah, that's the case. So we'll see how long I can stay on today. Ah, you guys had to reschedule. Oh, okay. All right, well that makes me feel a little less bad about not staying on as long today. I like Emalius' build. This is really smooth. I like the fish. Antagonist build is like, it's definitely set up where he has to do some real damage. But if there's ever a Civ that would have that potential, it would be The Khmer, is this... This has to be galleys, right? He knows his opponent has a dock. He's headed to gold and wood. The other thing you could do is you could sneak an archery range. And let's watch this Vil. See, because this Vil is not headed to gold or wood. And guys, if you're paying attention, Antagonist could see that Emalius sent the Vils this way. So he knows they went this direction. If he was paying attention to that, which I'm sure he was. I think he's going to sneak an archery range and try and go archers for the wood line. And Emalius has there's no scout. So Emalius is probably confused. He doesn't see a dock. He's going to add a barracks. He doesn't know it, but that's actually huge. Because then he could quickly drop down an archery range for skirms if he needs to. Definitely going to be forward archers. Is Lumen for Emalius? Looks like it is. There's the archery range. Uh-oh. Can the barracks see that? I don't think it can. Oh, it can! No! That is not what you want with the sneak. He thinks that he's placed this in this empty area, but now his opponent can see what he's doing. And immediately drops down the archer range. Could maybe wall up a little bit. And this sneak archer play shouldn't work at all. And even the spearman's at it as well to try and attack the Vil on the blacksmith. But like, if you really wanted to, you could just tower this or wall it up. If you're Emalius, you could put a stop to this right away the second your skirms come out. Now look at him, guys. He's he's using the fishing ship to get the buffaloes, but he's missing all the buffaloes. He's either doing that or he's using the fishing ship to look for a dock, which is probably more accurate because he wants to know if his opponent is going for that. But yeah, here he comes. He's actually walling in the blacksmith. So if Blue wants to save this villager, Blue's going to have to delete his own blacksmith. This is a disastrous game for Antagonist. This is not anywhere near the start that he would have wanted. And this might be a bit of momentum for Emalius. It was a really nice Dark Age from Emalius. Obviously, he didn't lose a Vil. He saved his Rhino. His strategy looks top tier, and any more archers are just straight up a waste. Like, it doesn't make any sense to actually make archers, and then what else are you going to do? There's the dock now. That's probably your next best thing, because wood and gold is what you're using for archers. He is going to farm. That's kind of fun. Losing the Vil was pure greed, says Call in chat. Yeah, I agree with you. It was unnecessary, but maybe he felt like he needed it because the Lithuanians, maybe they make a little bit more sense in his mind. Now, we might see the archer hop out because the skirms and spears are running away. But this army now is going to go hunt, going to go try and feast, and there's not a whole lot to protect them. So, Antagonist just has to hope that he could survive somehow. And he does have the fire galleys. He's going to drop a tower on his wood line. These Vils are going to make a run for it. And here comes the army from Emalius. Let's go. Pirate in chat says, "Hey chat, how are you? I saw a scary duck today." Yeah? Are you good? Thanks for showing up, man. Sorry you got traumatized by a duck. Sounds an awful like an awful lot like some of the experiences I've had in Florida. Yeah, so I like the idea. Since you can farm in the middle of nowhere with Khmer, I really like the idea of farming on the edge. This is some out of context Age of Empires stuff here. Like, you would be like, huh? That doesn't make sense. But it does. But unfortunately, they've been found. This area is towered. So that should keep this somewhat protected. But still, it's not great. Fire galleys have to save the day for Antagonist. And even that's not working because Emalius sees this. And let's go. I mean, this could be a really fast game. Quick turnaround. Maybe things go well for Emalius at the start of game 2. And then before you know it, we make it to a game 5. Things can turn around quick. And this is looking smooth as well. It has been a beautiful build-up. Obviously, unlucky for Blue that he built the archery range in Red's vision. I think that hurt the strategy big time. And double dock now from Emalius to try and continue to fight back on water. And still kind of stops Antagonist from doing too much because he's got this ranged army around. I think farming around the TC is huge here because what you don't want is Vils walking across the whole map. So you do have to think about it and plan to farm a little bit once the berries start to run out. Fires are grouping up. Lots of repairings happening. Demo could be super juicy here because there's repair villagers on the marsh as well. And yep, that's going to be a dead Vil. Another villager kill here for Emalius. Emalius should reach Castle Age. He's camping this gold with an archer. He's sitting behind the wood line here. Antagonist is in full adaptation mode. Now he's coming back to this gold. He's just hoping he doesn't get spotted. But there's an army always moving to the next gold. Has to drop a house. Okay, now he's heading back over to this gold. Fights off that archer. It's just like back and forth, back and forth. It's far from efficient. Castle Age probably ends this game in one way or another. And there goes Emalius. That's sick. What I wouldn't mind, I do not think it's necessary in the slightest. I think just adding a stable and going for a couple nights in Castle Age is fine. And then booming. But I would say sending 6 Vils to stone right now and planning around a castle right here in the middle could be so valuable. Because, like, it's already so awkward to have your eco here. So it makes it easier for you to have your eco set up here long term. And then it also takes out the TC from the opponent. And usually there's going to be farm set up here as well, so. Yeah, this is just... things have not gone according to plan for Antagonist, and now he's trying to adapt. The only thing that he's done that has worked for him has been coming back on water. And that, my friends, will change with that demo. And so, there's still fires around for Emalius. He'll probably get the upgrades for those fires. I would say the natural play, again, would probably just be a knight. Like a knight running to the gold, or the especially underneath the tower, because he can't use his range units there right now. But probably could do that. Probably could end up going for War Galley as well. Big Vetch, Dave and I will cast sets together. Obviously, we're hosting the tournament together. And even if we weren't co-hosts, we would obviously cast together. But early rounds, when there's lots of sets overlapping, we probably won't be casting together as much. So we cover as many sets as possible. So, like, at least in my case, I don't know Dave's schedule. But in my case, this week, I'm going to be live, like, the next 4 or 5 days. Actually, I'm not live Saturday. Forgot about that. I can't be live Saturday because we have a Friendsgiving thing for Thanksgiving coming up. But yeah, so, you know, we'll kind of go with the flow. And then later stages, of course, we'll be casting together a lot. Yeah, I noticed Emalius loves the crossbow upgrade as well. But the crossbow upgrade ends the game, and there's maybe a chance. There's maybe a chance. Listen, that game looked really good from Emalius. He had a better build-up. I don't know what it's going to be on the other maps. But he showed he's got what it takes. Remember, game 1 was super close. That could have gone either way. Emalius just stomped him here. And stays alive in the series. So, we will be on Antagonist home maps next. So, it's his 2 maps. Still great odds for him. But Emalius gives himself a chance. So, apologies. Didn't realize they were already in the game. So, we have some catching up to do. And, ooh, this is a very, very, very interesting Nomad generation. And we're just like, I say we, like Dave and I are just such big fans of this version versus standard version because there's so much more variety and so much more adapting involved. We've got Antagonist up 2-1. He's playing as the Portuguese. And he has not chosen to dock yet. It would feel natural that he's going to bring this villager come down here and dock here in a second. Emalius is docked here. Is this the worst possible dock that you could place on this map? Probably not. I think this could be worse. Thankfully, no one's docked there. But it's not necessarily great. I mean, there are lots of fish around. Could actually be really good if you want to fight on water, though, because you have such a nice little choke point to work with. But he's docked all the way over here with Dravidians, and then he's TC'd the north. So they're pretty far away from each other here. Stone and gold scattered around the map. Obviously, forest food, anything they're going to need. And there is a pond in the middle. Now, I think the best civilization available for Emalius for Nomad was Italians, and he didn't play them here. And so people may start to question that a little bit. But I think he's thinking about the series because most likely Antagonist is going to play Bohemians on game 5. And it's a very late game type of map where Bohemians can dominate. Italians are a good matchup against Bohemians. So I think he's hoping that he could play at a bit of a disadvantage civ-wise here. Not that Dravidians are horrible. We'll get to that. Win this game. And then potentially complete the reverse sweep in game number 5. But Dravidians cannot make knights. They're a bit awkward at times in terms of how you take control of the game. I think one of the best ways they can take control of the game is on water. And Portuguese are kind of the same. So, but Portuguese also have the threat of organ guns. And like, that is where your brain immediately goes when Portuguese are involved. So the best way to defend against organ guns probably would be mangonels. Dravidians have cheap siege. Dravidian have pretty flexible eco with the docks giving them some population space as well. So this starts pretty smooth. So yeah. But yeah, my stream PC was very close to just going right into an update, even though I told them I don't want to update. Mid-stream right there. It's happened before. I just randomly go offline. People hear me screaming, no, don't! And then T90 is offline. Maybe need to go into my settings or something. I'm pretty sure auto update is turned off. But they're just constantly trying to cram that update down my throat. It's like, don't you know who I am? We did update to the definitive edition in 2019. That was a big deal. But, you know, beyond that, not a big fan of change, my friends. Second boar coming in from Emalius, really smooth start. And I mean really smooth start. Antagonist, this has not been poor, but it hasn't been as good. Long distance boar. You know you have a good start on Nomad at a high level if you don't have to get loom. So he snagged loom. Obviously keeps the villager safe. But Emalius always had the food to produce vills. And hasn't lost any vills as well without loom. It looks like he might be missing one more boar, though. He's going to find the sheep. Oh, he can see this boar. Okay, that boar's fine. Close enough. Thanks for the prime. Ghost Ballista, thanks for the 8 months. What's up? Welcome. Thank you, CVAD. What's up, man? 60 months from CVAD. I'm so sorry I missed that. Nice to see you, man. Radna, team accountants. Is all your AoE accounting needs. That is not my accountant. Actually, that might be my accountant. I don't know if my accountant has a Twitch name. This is awkward. Dr. Pepper. Hi, I'm Mio. Thank you. Thunder NG. Thank you. Guys, I'm going through the list of people I forgot because I suck. So sorry that I've been focused on casting. That's so horrible of me. But Thunder says, been watching on YouTube for a little bit. Now keep up the good stuff. Yo, thank you. Thank you. Did they locate the docks at all? Dude, Emalius. So he should know that the opponent is most likely to the south of him, and he's going to have the fish trapped. Because look at that scouting with the sheep. This is incredibly thorough. And his build is sick as well. He's going to click up here in a second. Guys, there's a very good chance. There is a very good chance we get a 5th game in this series. And what a momentum swing it would be as well. Because if this goes to 5 games, all the momentum is with the guy who was down 0-2. And it was looking rough for. I love to see how thorough people scout with sheep when they're good at this map. And yes, it is landlocked here. So you know the fish are most likely going to be down here. There will always be a dock. He hasn't located the enemy TC yet, but he's scouting a lot. And then Antagonist, he hasn't scouted near as thoroughly. I think he might have lost a sheep here, though, so he might know his opponent is near. And there, Emalius just lost the sheep to the Vil, which will tell him the dock is down there. Second dock coming up for Emalius. He's going to aim to kill fish. And he's also, with no loom, still no loom is nuts to me. I cannot do this stuff. But people have such crazy command with their quick walls and their bores. Look at that. Dude, I would fail so many times. What was that, 5 different times? No loom, no problem. Bringing in the bore. And should be able to keep everything alive here just fine. Man, this could be an unbelievable start. This is a fast castle from AntagonisT, I believe. Well, he does have 2 docks. He's still adding fish. It feels like a fast castle. And there's going to be fire galleys coming in to kill his fish. And there's going to be nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. You get an extra 200 wood when you make it to the next stage with Dravidians, which is so nice on Nomad. And then your fishing ships have extra carry capacity. I think going 2 galleys would have been preferred here, in my opinion. But that's from what we know. What I think is best in these scenarios is you go 2 galleys to snipe fish and you follow it up with fire galleys. You don't want to continue on with galley production because that's too much attention to micro and that just gets too involved. But 2 galleys that you can run in, kill 4 to 5 fish before their fires come out. Now the fires are coming out. But we knew the uptimes. We knew that this guy is going to be faster than the opponent. And dude, you got to go just passing here. You can't sit on this dock. What is this? This is not it. You got to go kill fish. This is your time. I'm a little surprised by the choices there. Now, I think he's scared of organ guns. He's going barracks. He's going archer range. So he's actually going to go archers. Also, hello, I sit in the chat. Is that the I sit or is that an I sit imposter? Welcome. I see you've been back playing a little bit. I have looked at your profile recently. Portuguese have more HP on their ships. So you can use the fishing ships as tanks. Beautifully played from AntagonisT. And so things could get a little awkward now for Emalius. It could get awkward for both players trying to get home or trying to run through because of the choke point here. First kill for AntagonisT. This is the choke point I'm talking about. Right here. Demo in either dock could be really smart for either player. Yeah, I think that's actually the play. I think these docks should always be the demo docks from here. Archers on the way. That could be really strong to hold map control against the Portuguese, to stop them from getting any forward castles down or anything of the sort. There's still 6 fishing ships behind this for Emalius. He clicks up to Castle Age. What an uptime. What a recovery. Dang. This is sick. Yeah, look at the scouting from him. Look how good he's played this. Look at that map coverage with sheep, people. Sorry, that was very high pitched. With sheep. Oh, man, in a demo, I was too busy talking about sheep, but we'll go back. Because we don't miss things on this channel. Not actually a good demo. A horrible demo, actually. And we'll catch up to live time. So this has now become a situation where neither player could go through here without it being dangerous. And so you can actually go around that, funnily enough. Yeah, both players are a little bit hesitant to move in. And so advantage to the player who's in Castle Age, or on the way to Castle Age, then I'd say. No villagers on stone yet for AntagonisT. AntagonisT has 9 vills in queue. He could have gone Castle Age a long time ago. Oh, man, look at that. He just canceled them. Suddenly, he's so rich with food. And Demo goes in. Demo trades. Not the biggest deal. But yeah, the archers are key here. The archers are key. Will they find the right spot? It's pretty crazy, right? Like, if they go through here, huge. If they go through here, huge. But if they show themselves at all too early... See, this isn't walled. Too early would be a mistake. Demo v demo there. Here come the archers. They're through. They're through. Are we going to get to a game number 3? Sorry, not 3. This is game 3. Game number... Wait, this is game 4. Game number 5. There's archers on the berries now. The archers... No, they go into the TC. That's such critical timing. Such critical timing because that could have done so much more. There's other things to look at. There's the water to focus on as well. Only one villager kill. Man, I mean, Antagonist quickly dropping the houses, doing what he could there. Maybe did enough where he could still get a castle down. Demo's still making their way through. Ships need to be split up. Beautiful defense from Emalius. The crossbows are not going to accomplish much more than what they have. We see TC number 2, though. There's berries. There's going to be sheep. There's fish still. There's good eco here. And now he's going to try and force the issue because he's about to get the upgrades. There's going to be demos, though, and the demos hop out. And the demos will help him defend here. It might not seem like it's enough initially, but there's a lot of HP on these Portuguese ships. I actually think a demo follow-up from Emalius would be key. And here he comes. He's going to lose his ships. Is it worth it? Maybe. The crossbows are still around all the wood lines, around the TC. It's a panic castle now from Antagonist. And he might start to let the dangerous thoughts creep into his mind as well, right? Oh no, am I throwing this? I'm so much better than this guy. What's happening? What's happening to me? Maybe excuses over the map gen. Like, who knows where his mindset's at. But he inevitably makes it to organ guns, which we were expecting. Organ guns are very dangerous to deal with, and I think Emalius needs to respect that it's coming. And this is just going to be demo central right through the choke. Eventually, Antagonist runs out of fish, though. There's not actually a lot to take. It's Nomad. You can always blame the map. True. Well, so organ guns struggle against mangonels, and Dravidians have cheap siege. So I really like the decision to drop the siege workshop. Demo potential, demo potential, demo potential! Oh, juicy demos. The dock is still doing so much blocking, but oh man, yeah, Emalius goes right by it. He'll kill the fish. He'll probably end up killing the navy. He'll kill the dock at this rate. And here, he also had killed some vills. Actually, I'm not sure if he did kill villagers there. I think the Eco KD was the fishing ships. But, yeah, it's just a great play. Great recovery from the guy. He did lose all of his crossbows. So he needs to rely mainly on mangonels. And what the Portuguese player would typically do is go monks with redemption to convert the mangonels. So this becomes an all-in now. Antagonist hasn't seen mangonels yet. And let's see if he'll notice that and go for monks. And that's difficult. Like, yes, monks are cheap with Portuguese, but redemption's 500 gold. It takes you so long to get there. Sure, I mean, ideal world, you don't lose crossbow like that, but Emalius has been applying a lot of pressure to his opponent, and you could argue that everything that happened on water happened because he pressured with the crossbow, so maybe a little wasteful to lose the crossbows, but I like the focus. He's on 2 town centers. He's up to 12 fishing ships behind this, adding more docks. Organ guns shred the crossbows. Like, it is not even close. You just got to stop. Like, I like the opening to apply pressure, but at this point, I wouldn't even make them. And this is another option for Antagonist. You just go siege, your own siege. And oh my god, he's going to drop another siege workshop over here. What in the world? I think outposts around the map are super helpful for Emalius here. You've got such a nice lead. Don't be surprised by anything. Outpost here, outpost here, outpost here. You outpost those positions, and then suddenly you should be able to react appropriately. Antagonist is kind of going for a weird angle here. But weird angles can work. Because Emalius has so much control. He's kind of expecting the action to come through the middle. He's probably confused that he didn't see all the organ guns. And the siege workshop's over here to the left. And here come the organ guns. Dude, he didn't notice it, guys. He just didn't notice it. It's a slaughter. And look at the panic. Look at the panic. I love how Antagonist waited until he got super close to the gold to attack. Because if you attack from far away, he hears the attack noise and he's able to react and save what he can. Still no loom, by the way. Still no loom. Oh, no. And now he's going to TC this gold. Remember, even though Emalius has gained a pretty significant lead with it, he has to balance water and land and make different types of armies and manage multiple TCs. Antagonist is he's managing the same 2 units, and he doesn't have multiple TCs. It is easier to play in many ways from Antagonist's position as far as control goes. And for the love of God, you got to get Loom here. They're organ guns, so they're going to kill things anyways, but Loom is such a big upgrade to miss out on. Oh, man. Son of the Mustard Tiger, new sub with Prime, says, hey, here for the first time, says, new to your YouTube content, now I'm here live. Big original AOK player. Keep up the good work, my man. You're welcome. You've gotten here at a crazy time. This series has been intense. It was a 2-0 lead for Antagonist. Emalius is bringing his back. He's killed most of the organs, guys. But there's going to be a tiny little siege push to worry about on the right side as well. I do think the thing to think about, too, is, like, what's your long-term with Dravidians? What's your army going to be? Can you win the whole game with just Mangonel defense? You need eco. You need these lumberjacks to become farmers. He's in a massive panic. He does not realize he doesn't have loom. Maidfen says, I used to only sub because your parents asked me to, but I slowly don't even mind watching anymore. I hope you're lying, because I've often thought that you guys are all just people my parents pay to give me purpose in life. Thank you. I mean, the food income has been unbelievable on water. 18 fishing ships for Emalius. Plus he has the farms. Kills 2 of the organs there. There's just units everywhere. Like, it's such crazy pressure from Antagonist. Organ guns are kind of slow too, right? Micro here. Like, how has he been able to get the surrounds? Well, Deer dies. Mangonel does not. More kills here. More kills could come. Did a Mangonel go down to a fire ship there? I think it did. Oh, man. Full panic mode. Full panic mode. Chat, can everyone please say loom? Come on. Everyone scream it right now. This guy deserves to win this game. Or maybe he deserves to lose it for not getting loom. Get loom, bro! Or he's like, man, organ guns are so OP. And yeah, they might be. But you have no loom! This is horrible. The Vils are so exposed. And like right now, Antagonist is like, this is crazy. I can't believe I've got a chance here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, he's throwing it. He's throwing it. Oh no, dude. There's gonna be another shot. Another shot. No. Oh, Jesus. Guys. I think Emalius might throw this. Oh, it's so painful. His eco's been so inefficient. He does have 5 mangonels. But with loom, he probably would have only lost 20 Vils or 25 Vils. Like anything the organ guns remotely get close to. End up dying. Okay, well, there's a Mangonel there, but the Vils don't have loom. Oh my god! I can barely stand to watch! This is so frustrating. I like feel bad for him, yeah. Because it's obviously the pressure of the moment. But at what point do you recognize, bro? Oh! Pain! It's falling apart! Everything's falling apart! His eco lead is falling apart. He's got 54 vills. His opponent has 75. He desperately needs his castle to complete. But the vills... Dude! Please! Oh, Antagonist! Oh, no! Antagonist is building his own castle. He has not allowed Emalius to settle and chill at all. And I think if Emalius's castle is denied, it's over. It's such a shame because there's such great talent here from Emalius to get the lead. But the chaos of the situation and the moment has simply gotten to him. And oh no. Oh shoot. Oh no, Loom. Oh. Antagonist is staying close. Oh no. Antagonist is staying close to the other Mangonel. What a play. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, what a collapse. What a collapse. You can't make this up. Oh. Oh man. I feel so bad. Okay, well, hold on. Let's see. He's still got a fish boom with Dravidians. He gets his castle up. He forgot about all his siege over here. Like, he's got so much leftover siege. Antagonist was never expecting 3 Mangonels to be there, so he loses 2. This should be an imp race right now. This should be about trebuchets from the castles more than anything else. And, I mean, Antagonist has had farming eco this whole time. And he uses the market, clicks up to imp. He's going to win. He's going to win the series. Wow. Man, what a crazy play from Antagonist to go to the right side. Like, the right side play won him this game. Obviously, no Loom was a factor. But showing up to the gold out of nowhere was crazy. Emalius never expected that. And then what happens is Emalius has to react here. And then he gets hit on this side. And then it's back and forth. And then no Loom. Could say it's a throw from Emalius. But it's hard to execute. Like, even though these guys are top 100 players, this is a clear example of how it's hard to stay consistent and execute perfectly all the time. Especially on Nomad. And you gotta credit Antagonist for the chaos he created here. This was such a dire spot. It felt like he had no chance. But he avoided where the Mangonels were. The Mangonels were on the front. He went to the side, and then it was just all hell broke loose. Imp is on the way for Emalius. Guys, I mentioned before how Emalius has deleted his vills before at the end of games. If there was a time for him to do it, this would be the time for it. He's stonewalling up, which I think is really smart. He does have access to stone. He's got limited control over gold if he loses this area, though. And there's more stone and gold all over the map for Antagonist. What crazy, crazy aggression, man. And does he have Loom yet? Still no Loom. He just simply forgot it. Because, like, guys, 99% of the time for pro players, they get Loom before they go feudal or right when they get in feudal age on, like, normal games, right? On non-nomad starts. So here, he just forgot about it because he assumes he has it already. It's not in the thinking to get Loom in castle age. It's something that's usually already out of the way. So... I wish we could replay the entire game with Loom in to know what the difference would be. What we know right now is the first trebs are going to come out. Emalius still has the eco lead. But he's going to need bombard cannons to recover from this. I love this sneak. This is actually really valuable. Blue doesn't know about this. Blue does not know about this. Blue just sees fortified walls. So Blue will probably direct all of his attention towards the middle now. I expect Emalius to lose his castle. He expects it as well. He's actually going to research conscription, which I think is a smart move. Loom! Loom! He's getting Loom! Let's go! He's probably like, shit! That explains everything. Dude, this castle is not it, Antagonist. Thankfully, he built it with 1 vil. But you need to delete that. Conscription will be denied. No conscription. And he is hoping for bombard cannons. But Antagonist is already making bombard cannons. So if Antagonist didn't get chemistry, different situation. But bombard cannon defense going to be kind of tough when the opponent already has more bombard cannons from the offensive side. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so Blue doesn't know about any of this stuff happening over here. And Blue's castle is not going to go up. And he could lose a bunch of vills. Emalius is waiting as well. Like, he's not even trying to show it with the monk. Organ guns diving. Go for the mangonel. They still have to be careful there. This castle is hugely denied. Oh, let's go, Emalius. He's got loom and he's ready to vroom. Let's go. Arbalest is on the way. So Arbalest, mangonel, bombard cannon seems like the play. Guys, gold is such a big issue for Emalius. He's escaping to get this gold. He does not have golden come in his base. If he didn't lock down the right side, it's definitely game over. That saves him. We got a castle from Antagonist to try and protect this side, contest this side. And he's still trying to push the middle right now as well. Guys, organ guns shred arbs. You have to have bombard cannons. You have to have mangonels. Arbalest is good in other circumstances. And Blue is making a lot of progress. The Arbalest just gets shredded. That's such an expensive upgrade. The mangonel goes down. It's going to be a big issue for Emalius to recover now. He's trying to produce bombard cannons. He will lose this siege workshop, so he will not get that bombard cannon. He's got this one behind. He's going to lose his TCs as well. Meanwhile, he's placed a mining camp on this gold, so he didn't know Blue had a castle there. All hell is broken loose. Complete chaos. And I love how you could feel the nerves. You could feel the fact this is a tournament. None of this picture-perfect play under the pressure, which, of course, you got to appreciate when it happens. It's gone from one resource being an issue to the next being an issue for Emalius. Now it's actually wood. So he gains the gold, but now his food and his wood eco is being affected. Still, though, I mean, the bombard cannons are the key. If he can get good engagements with the cannons, he could, in theory, hold. Fortunately, there's going to be a forward castle from Antagonist. No Fatorias, by the way, for Antagonist. He's got a lead organ gun, though. And you always have to gain a bit of an eco lead against Portuguese when they're going to send organs. Red had that eco lead. And then he didn't get loom. Who knows? Maybe he would have lost anyways. The organ gun still would have done a lot of damage. Loom's just what we see. This castle's such a good castle, though. It just completely solidifies this area of the map. Bombard cannons are the most important bombard cannons that Emalius has ever made in his life. Let's see. He has loom this time. Oh, God. The organs are so strong. And they're all split up as well, so the bombard cannons are really only hitting one organ gun at a time. Painful. He's still got a nice vil count. It could actually swing back with the cannons, though, which is kind of the wild thing about this. I'm actually still giving Emalius a chance here. As weird as that sounds, because this castle can complete. He can repair it and then take the trebs and the cannons from Antagonist. It's doable. It's not great. But, repair. Insta-buy stone. Cannon. Castle down. Yikes. And now the cannon micro from Antagonist is superior. Good attack groundwork. There's still so many bombard cannons, though. Oh, 1 kill for Antagonist. Now he loses 2, though. He's in it. It's not great. Especially as, like, the 5th castle's going up for Antagonist. But maybe push this back. It just feels like he's no army to contribute with his bombard cannons. Which is the issue. And I don't know what to suggest, by the way. The main weakness of organ guns is siege. The other thing would be, like, monks. Dravidians don't really have the best of monks. So this is where Emalius exists now. There and on the shoreline with the fish. That's everything he has. And what an unfortunate situation for him, because he had such a big lead. He had such a nice lead. The game, like, I was already in game number 5 in my head. Elephants would not work against organ guns, by the way. Not elite organ guns. You do also have to factor in what resources does someone have. Doesn't really have the res for any tech switch. It's kind of all on bombard cannons for now. Arquebus comes in and siege engineers now for Antagonist. So he will win the bombard cannon war if that's what this is. But he doesn't have any cannons yet. I think he's going to have the time, though. I would say maybe pushing this way is the play. It's kind of crazy how the pond cuts things off. I think cannon galleons would be a really good play in the middle. Docking there and making cannon galleons would be just as helpful, if not more helpful. I think docking the outside's a no because there's still lots of navy from the opponent. But docking the middle makes sense. Yeah, you can make any unit, like any standard unit against mass organ guns, except for like maybe Paladin, and have me feel okay with it. I actually think even like condos aren't actually that great against elite organs. That's a pretty niche case. It's just really strong against groups of standard units. So the bombard cannons are affected by ballistics now. So as Red tries to micro away, he's still losing his cannons. And Antagonist is a pretty big score lead. And he's probably enjoying the feeling of being in position to move into the next round. What a great series from him. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from him. Oh, man, that could have been a disaster for Antagonist. He stacked all of his units on a couple tiles there. No siege engineers for Emalius, though, so he's lacking the range. And a castle here. Oh, wow, what a castle. I mean, Emalius needs space. And so he's doing what he can to gain that space. But this castle, if it goes up, it probably won't stay up. Bombard cannons trying their best to micro around next to the castle. Emalius doesn't want to call it. He's going to have to call it soon. This castle will probably go up. I mean, this series has shown so many unique scenarios. This is kind of wild. Look at the minimap right now. All that red on the outside and then this little red dot. This one area of red here. There is a trap and some cannons from Antagonist to push this castle down, though. And he's still pushing this one. And Emalius is going to be left to think about what could have been. He had the lead. Things got too chaotic for him. He wasn't able to finish it off. And I think this is the end for him. He's put up such a great fight. I hate to see someone get a position like this and throw it because they will feel down on themselves, and I've been in that position. But that's part of competitive AoE, right? The opponent made it chaotic and made the opponent make mistakes. It wasn't just Emalius making mistakes. It was the moment and the opponent forcing those mistakes, right? And oh man, he really doesn't want to quit. Dude, Organ's just slaughtering the Bills here. 75 pop. All the siege is going down. There's not going to be a whole lot left. And he calls the GG. I thought Emalius had it. What a comeback. Man, if he had Loom, I'd like to think he still would have got the job done. He had such a good opening. His opening was top tier. He had great map control with the archers. Good damage. The siege was out. It was just the crazy play of the organ guns going to the right side. Like, I want to show you guys, just in case you didn't pick up on this, how big a swing this was, right? So, at this point, massive eco lead for Emalius. He's on TCs. He's collected 3,000 more resources. He has the answer to the organs. And so he's just waiting for the organs to come this way. Okay? Well, what happens is Organ guns hit him here, and he loses the Vils. And now watch. So it's not about this alone. Obviously, this was devastating. Okay, but what does this do? Well, he's like, oh my god. Okay, I got to go somewhere else with my siege here. I need a new siege workshop. Then he needs to think, oh my god, I need gold. Fast forward, going to this gold. So then what's going to happen is, out of nowhere, you're going to have blue start to go middle again, right? So now Antagonist pushes middle as red has reacted to the north, red has reacted here. So it just gave blue initiative to hit the next spot, right? And then we saw it, right? Then units go to the left because red responded here, and then more units come in here. And like at a certain point, Emalius couldn't keep track. He had like 5 mangonels. 3 of them were just chilling over here doing nothing because he produced them to defend from one attack that wasn't happening anymore. But then he needed loom because a lot of these shots were just one-shots on Vils. The Vils actually had chances of survival if he would have had loom, both on the castle, on the TC, and everything else. So Salva says what you said before, outpost. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think outposts did happen, though. Like, he did end up having the vision for a while. It then just becomes a question of, are your villagers surviving? And then organ guns are just suck to deal with because organ guns are so good in low numbers. You can't make knights with Dravidians. You don't really know what to do. But this should have never happened, in my opinion. It's unfortunate, but Antagonist gets the win. And that's what happens when the pressure's on. Look at the total eco count for Emalius. 208 total eco that game. His max Vil count was 96. His max Vil count was 96. But his total eco count in that game was 208. So he just spent so much of his food reproducing Vils. If he didn't lose 20 of those Vils, he's imp faster. Because he's got more villagers working, he's in a more natural position to go imp. And then if he's imp faster, he maybe wins the Treb War. He maybe wins the Bombar Cannon War. So, yeah, it just kind of fell apart. Okay.